Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. I have been getting very sick of hearing about everyone in the Wells family, but about Summer Wells out of the family's mouths. You've got Candace and Don Wells and their Meteor manager, yes, Meteor, Tim Mullins. Tim Mullins, he calls himself the media manager, which it's been pronounced Meteor. They are all out here on social media blaming family services, DCF, CPS, anybody they can. They're posting on the Find Summer Wells page. Let me show you. Find Summer Wells page. So this is the Find Summer Wells Facebook page, which a lot of you are, I'm sure, very familiar with. And then it actually has a link for their website, which is right here, which for someone like Tim, my opinion, who is so enthralled in all this media, in quotes, I'm doing air quotes as I say that, media stuff, this website is pretty crappy, okay? As soon as you see this, I mean, you have to really scroll down to get any photos of Summer Wells. When you come to this website, the first thing you should see is a gigantic photo of Summer. And yes, you have the good part about it on the left-hand side, and in big print is 1-800-TBI find, and the emails for tips to TBI. That I will give them props for. But as far as everything else, to get the pictures of Summer Wells, you have to click on a link. I believe it comes up down here. And then you could see all the photos of sweet Summer. Okay? Why isn't there a photo of her as soon as you click on findsummerwells.com? Her missing poster, something should be right there. If nothing else, look at this one. They could put this one. Something. Okay? In my opinion, it's garbage, and of course unfortunately most of these photos of Summer with hair are not exactly the most helpful, because this was pretty much how Summer looked when she went missing. Or as Don says, when she got gone. Because that's exactly the way Don Wells has always described his daughter's disappearance. See this right here? Look at that. Tim, we need to have something like this, needs to be front and center. Now you go right back to the Facebook page, you've got it on the top, because Facebook has a banner. And they have, of course, your profile photo. But your website, no. And that's just on the front edge of everything here. Here, like I said, the Facebook page on the forefront is much better than the web page. But that's kind of where it stops, because it talks about any and everything but finding Summer Wells. Oddly enough, this was just posted recently, the other day, on 12 hours ago, which surprises me that they actually posted this, because Tim rarely ever posts anything lately about finding Summer. Here's a link to them talking about impersonating Child Protective Services. Can it happen? Because they have been on a roll lately about attacking CPS. Because they blame CPS for taking the boys. Don, Candace, Tim Wells, and it's seeming to look like Robin Lane at this point, they all blame the state. They say that they stole their kids from them. Okay. That's not exactly what CPS does. I think they need to get better informed. And don't get me started on his continuous hashtags about Amber Alert families. There's no such thing as a dang Amber Alert family. Tim, Don, all of you folks, okay? And all this garbage that you continually post, okay? All about the boys, which is there's a gag order. You shouldn't be talking about all this stuff. None of it. None of it should be talked about. Like I said, everything in here for the most part is any and everything not Summer. And there's another CPS, DC, Family Services complaint. Another one. Oh, here's a post that they were, blaming them for stealing the children, that they were kidnapped. They came in and kidnapped them from Ben Hill Road. All right. And then he's out there posting pictures of the boys. Okay? Especially the oldest. Why are we going after these 3 boys? Why? This is supposed to be a Facebook page, right, about Find Summer Wells. This sweet child right here, this face, this is who this Facebook page is supposed to be about. No, it's not an extension, Tim. It's not an extension of the Wells family. It's not. If you want to do a Facebook page for the Wells family, well, you should create one of those. You should create that. Okay? But this one here is called Find Summer Wells. Posting and putting the boys out there when they are in their safe place. All this garbage and attacking Child Protective Services. It's not helping the case. And I personally cannot wait until these 3 boys finally get completely severed from their parents. It was supposed to happen this month, but it looks like we're pushing it out until January, which is really sad in my opinion, because it would have been nice to give them this gift by the holidays. It would have been a great Christmas gift if the 3 boys could have finally been able to say, we have a permanent home and we are happy and we don't have to deal with our bio mom and dad anymore. Because really, they don't want to go back to Don and Candace. They don't want to go back to Ben Hill Road. At least one of them has stated such a fact. Getting back to Summer Wells, because all this garbage that they've been talking about, they go on other channels, start arguments, which in one point it's kind of good because we get to hear Don drunk and he slips and he tells us things. And all I can imagine is TBI is there's a guy or a girl or a group that sits there, listens and watches all of these YouTube channels, these places that the Wells call into, and they're just thinking, man, we just have so much we can put against them, because I think once the boys' cases get completely closed, they are going to go after Don and Candace. And possibly Grandis, because I believe she knows something too. Remember how fast she left the state after Summer got gone? She got out of there faster than a jackrabbit. For someone that had issues with her knee, man, she sure as hell got out of Dodge, didn't she? Now, so we need to bring it back to this sweet child right here. Okay, we need to bring it all the way back and make sure that she is the focus, because I don't plan on stopping looking for Summer, looking for answers until she's found, one way or another. I had shared some of this earlier on here on the channel, and of course we've learned some things along the way, which I can discuss here. But there's Summer, and of course that's her with hair, as we know, because when she was shaved, and And of course, Candace likes to say, oh, she said in her infamous interview with her husband by her side outside their home, oh, she wanted her head shaved just like the boys. No, no. There's a photo out there that the boys' are not shaven, and only Summer. Something is wrong with every single thing that comes out of Candace and Don's mouth. And Grandis, she left so she didn't have to talk. She talked once. Remember that one interview? After a few months, she decided to finally talk. But she pretty much keeps to herself. Like I said, she took off and she didn't really look back. She wasn't there for, you would think if you're the grandmother and your granddaughter goes missing and your daughter is upset and your son-in-law and your grandsons are there, don't you think you'd stick around to be supportive? Maybe you can't go out and physically search, okay? But wouldn't you stick around to help find your sweet granddaughter? I mean, that would be normal, right? But see, the Blyes and the Wells, they don't think like that. They don't think like that. So we go back, to June 15th, 2021. So we know 5-year-old Summer goes missing. The family actually reports her missing around 6:30 p.m. that evening. Now, as we've gone over 2 years into the disappearance of Summer, I think that whatever happened to Summer happened well before dinner time. We can't put an exact time on it, but something happened, I think, before dinner time. This script, this story that Candace and Don and Grandis have tried to make sure they have memorized, they've had their slip-ups. They've had a few slip-ups along the way. Because, man, it's hard to remember a lie, Even if you have a script and you wrote it down, I mean, you have to go back and go, oh, I got to remember my lines this time. So a massive ground search commences the next morning when the sun comes up. And as we know, if Summer truly walked away from her home, if she went out that basement door, as Candace and Don swear she did, first of all, they would have seen her out there. Even as oblivious as Candace and Grandis are, we've seen the outside of that home, and where Grandis's camper was parked, you would have seen Summer come out there. They would have seen her. And so they searched, and they searched. Nothing. That's because she didn't wander away. She didn't walk away. And of course, immediately, they all go with, she was taken. And Don is immediately with the media. Some bad person grabbed her. Don, you can't even really tell that there's a home, that there's a family living where your home is on Ben Hill Road. You can't tell that from the main road out there. So you're telling me someone wandered out into the holler and they decided, let me go see what's down here. And they wandered down there. Within all your crap and garbage out there, you've got a school bus sitting out there. You've got bikes and all kinds of crap. There's probably other vehicles. I mean, we've all seen the outside of the Wells home. It's a lot of crap. And of course, at that time, you had Grandis's camper out there. And you're telling me they went all the way down that long driveway. They went all the way down there. And they decided, hey, we're going to take a little girl that lives here. No. If they were looking to take someone, if the boys were home all day by themselves, which is what we were told, why wouldn't they have taken one or all of the boys? This does not make sense. Okay? Now we have Ellie provides daily pressers for 10 consecutive days. And then on the June 26th, TBI announced they were searching for a late model red Tacoma truck seen in the area. May have been a potential witness, and I believe that that may have belonged to someone the Wells knew. Candace Bly speaks to the media for the first time on June 28th, while Don had spoken out on June 18th. And remember when Don spoke out, he's all about someone took her, this is a bad drug area, and people do some bad stuff around here, and yeah, I hope she's found, and she wouldn't wander away because there's a lot of bears and stuff around here, and I think someone took her, and my family, we believe in the resurrection, and yeah, I mean he just went on and on. And what's really sad about that interview, his oldest son, he had him right by his side and his arm was around him this entire time. For what? That kid looked so uncomfortable. You just want to save him. And thank the Lord CPS has saved those boys. I mean, come on. And then of course, when Candace spoke out, she, was playing the same party lines. Yeah, we were planting flowers outside, and Summer wanted to go in. First, she got a peppermint from Grandma, and then she went inside to play. And I told the boys to watch her, and then she said they went down to the basement, and then she was just gone. Candace, none of that happened. I don't believe it for a hot second now. Especially when she threw in that I went over to help my mom put on her knee brace. No, you didn't. No, you did not, Candace. No. None of that happened. None of that happened. So, remember Candace's story? Here is her script. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers, cactuses apparently, and we went in, and after we got done washing our hands, because we all know the Wells and the Blys always wash their hands. And Summer got a piece of candy from Grandma. You mean like a candy that she got from Sonic? Because it was probably a free piece of peppermint candy from the fast food place. And Summer wanted to go back over and see her brothers, and I said okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said okay, and I yelled downstairs for her a couple of times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually they always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. Yeah, she was just gone. Yeah. So again, I don't believe the planting flowers, cactuses, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't believe that ever happened. I believe she put those toys in there at a different time. The toys that the Paw Patrol that she was showing Chris McDonough. For some reason, I think that may have happened at a different time. Yeah, this is a script. This was Candace's script, and she didn't talk to the media member till the 28th. She had to make sure she memorized the story. She wanted to make sure by the time she sat down with the media, she had it down. But in the last couple of years, that script is started to slip with all the drinking and stuff she does. So, yeah. Then you've got Brandis's story, Candace Horror. Summer came in and got a piece of peppermint, which is her favorite. You mean because it's probably all you ever have? Then she went in and she said, Mama, I want to go play with the boys. Candy walked her back into the house, and she asked the boys to keep an eye on her, and that's the last time I saw her. And then you got the hell out of Dodge there, didn't you, Grandis? Pretty quickly you said, gotta go. Can't deal with all this searchers and law enforcement hanging around. Yeah. So, yeah, this did not happen. This did not happen. Like I said, this is the story we've been fed from the beginning, and it didn't happen. If it there may have been pieces of this that have truth in it. I do, I believe you go back to where they went to the swimming hole. They went to the for the prescription, the Sonic, to get the vapes, all those sort of parts. I think there's some truth into that, but as far as this portion of the story, didn't happen like this at all. So Don was supposedly at work when Summer disappeared, but since then, he kind of gets that mixed up. He said we. You remember sometimes he goes we, and then oh wait, I met Candace, and my mother-in-law. So was Don home? I don't know. It's hard to say at this point. So here's what he had to say when he talked to WATE6. She was planting flowers with her mother and her grandmother, and she wanted to go into the house. So my wife watched her go into the door, and she went into the house. And the boys were on the internet, of course, and she wanted to go downstairs and play with her toys. So when her mother came in and she says, Summer, she went down into the basement and she didn't answer. So she went down there and she was gone. So she went out the basement door, which was unlocked, and we haven't seen her since. Yeah, Dawn's story is she just got gone. Someone came and took her. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that my opinion at this point is some kind of accident happened at the swimming hole or before the swimming hole, and I think that it was covered up, or and I hate to say this story, but I hate to say this possible theory, but that Summer was being sold to people for favors. I'm going to try to word myself carefully here. And they would normally bring her back home. Whether they would bring her to the shed that Dawn is so crazy about, the old house way in the back, what have you. Okay? And then for somehow this time, she wasn't brought back, or something happened when she was returned. And then of course they had to cover that up. Because if it was an accident, whether if Candace hit her too hard, or she drowned at the swimming hole, or she had a dry drowning, which has been discussed, I would think one of those options, theories, you would think that they would call for help. But, of course, this is the Wells we're talking about, so they don't think like everyone else. But Candace seems to get pretty upset when she sees the swimming hole now. So they say she hasn't been down there since she went down there with Chris McDonough. So that possibility of something happening at the swimming hole it lingers in my mind as something that's pretty key in what happened to Summer. Yeah, that's definitely to me something suspicious about that. So this, of course, is the infamous milk jugs with her sleeping. Well, allegedly sleeping, which has been analyzed so much from social media, YouTubers to FBI, TBI. I think she was probably alive here, but I don't know if that was for much longer. And the fact that she's in this suit that she's in, the long sleeves and the pants, if she supposedly went swimming afterwards, even if she was cold, it's a little odd to me in the summer. being she would have quickly gotten hot, so I don't know why they wouldn't have given her a towel or something else just to wrap around her, what have you. But either way, this may or may not be, because it still hasn't been confirmed that this was actually the last video, really, because it's a photo taken from the video of Summer. It's definitely probably one of the last images of Summer. But was this on the day, June 15th? And what was exactly going on in that car? I don't know. I still have questions about that. And I'm sure TBI and FBI know a lot more than we do. And it bothers me all the time that we're still waiting. But it's just another one of those cases that we're playing this waiting situation. And it sucks. It sucks because I want justice for Summer. I want to see her found one way or another. And she deserved better, and her family has done little to nothing for her. And I mean, she did, like I said, she just deserved better. And it breaks my heart that she went, this was the life that she lived. And sadly, she probably left the world that way. I think the likeliness that she's still with us is very, very small. I would love for me to be wrong on that, but I don't know. I mean, I just find it hard to believe that she's still with us. And I think that Candace for sure knows what happened to Summer. And I think Don probably knows, and I think Grandis knows. Now, every time we get a tip that someone like Summer was spotted alive, or potentially remains are found, which we recently just had one, and they haven't announced yet who the remains are, Candace doesn't move an inch. If you have a missing child and someone says, "Hey, I think I spotted Summer, your daughter," wouldn't you be getting on the phone or in the car, on a plane, whatever, and you would be there? I know I sure would if it was my loved one, my child. You would definitely be calling local law enforcement, TBI, whatever, saying, "Hey, is this my baby? Did they find my baby?" But she doesn't move. She sits there and just, no, it's not Summer. No. So that's indicative to me that she knows. She knows where Summer is. And she's known from day one. Yeah. So that said, we still have an active Amber Alert for Summer Wells. And it's going to be active until the day Summer's found. And if you or anyone you know has tips, please still call them in, 1-800-TBI-FIND, or you can email them, tips to tbi@tn.gov. And obviously they're not looking for rumors posted on social media, YouTube. They're looking for real information. And if you have it, please do call. The most important thing is Summer, finding Summer. I'm tired of hearing about their woes, the family's woes with CPS. I'm tired of hearing that they're an Amber Alert family, this does not exist. Okay, there's no such thing as an Amber Alert family. There's an Amber Alert child, and that's Summer Wells. Period. Let's find Summer. Let's make sure that we continue to be advocates for her. And let's never give up on her, because I don't plan on giving up on her. I will be here, and I will be doing videos, and I will continue to share her images, her beautiful face, until the moment that law enforcement confirms she's been found. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this one. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.